PvP in RavenQuest is one of the main things you can do in the game once you reach level 40 that involves you facing other players who want to absolutely obliterate you, teabag you, and humiliate you on a constant basis. Player versus player content is very fun, but a triggering experience that requires high level of skill, team cooperation, and lots of patience. Luckily, you came to the right video, because this is a complete DK PvP guide on RavenQuest. I will be breaking down every single thing you can do within this game mode and the best ways you can get into it and how to properly have a good experience, as it's very difficult to get into PvP as a beginner. So let's get into the video, starting with the stats, skills, build, and rotations for you to better understand the Dark Knight class in RavenQuest. So when it comes to stats, I don't complicate it too much. However, one thing is for certain, that you need to put some points on HP or defensive stats, such as vitality or dexterity. Currently running 200 vitality because of the recent nerfs and changes. You cannot go all in on might, you need to have some defensive abilities, so I split 250 vitality and 350 on might. When it comes to precision and impact, I have carefully revised my stats so that my precision will equal to 23% crit chance. This is very crucial because I wanted to fine-tune one stat to be exact 100% crit, and we will go into this right after. My advice and suggestion to you is feel free to test some different stats, even put some into dexterity, because as you know, vitality increases health regeneration, spell defense, weapon defense, mostly HP and defensives. Might, weapon power, weapon defense, health regeneration, some HP defenses, and mostly weapon power, which is damage. And dexterity gives you haste, spell defense, and weapon defense. So this is very crucial again, some defenses and haste. So maybe I am doing something wrong here, but so far so good. Feel free to experiment. For the warfare talent tree, we are going with, of course, Brutal Strike. We will be using this as Brutal Strike. Every third Brutal Strike will heal us. Then we have Shield Break. Shield Break is a good fight starter. It reduces their defensive stats. Guillotine is one of your main damage dealing abilities. Feasting Strike. Feasting Strike will heal us. It's our self-healing ability. And Bull Rush, it is a gap closer. Cards wise, we want to increase our Brutal Strike's healing ability, so we're going to go with the Troll. For Shield Break, we want to use Skeleton Rod Club so that we further increase the debuff that they will receive additional 14% weapon damage. For Guillotine, we want to use the Dwarf Legionnaire card because we want to have some healing reduction. This is very good against healers or Hex Wardens or every other class that has self-healing ability. For the Feasting Strike ability, we want to use Hog Warlord because it will increase our self-healing. And for Bull Rush, we want to use Toad Enforcer because then our charge will also stun the target. For the passives, we want to use Bloodbath. Bloodbath is a stackable ability. Bloodseeker, every auto attack will heal you. And Bloodlust. Bloodlust is very strong. Whenever you get below 50% health, it procs and you deal more damage, you have more critical strike, and you heal more. So for Shadow, we're not using Quick Slash. However, we are going to use Shadow Kick. Shadow Kick is our spell interrupter. We have Crippling Dagger, another gap closer, alongside the Bull Rush. Coup de Grace is one of our versatile damage dealing abilities. Very cool, very good. We have Sinister Plot, which generates 10 ether per second. It helps us to cycle through our spells faster, eventually dealing more damage faster. and then that Blossom, let's say our combo breaker, the highest dealing ability, but also with a 45-second cooldown. On cards wise, we wanna use Rat Scavenger because we want Shadow Kick to also slow the target. This will result in a versatile spell that we can use also against melee classes. For Crippling Dagger, we want to use Brotherhood Tracker so that we use Crippling Dagger and then our high damage dealing abilities. For Coup de Grace, we want to use Elf Assassin so that this spell will always crit. So this will be always a critical strike, critical chance no matter what. We want to further increase our critical with Scorn Acolyte on Sinister Plot. This will eventually give us minimum 10, 20-25% crit stacking up. And then Salt Dusk Cutthroat is our card for Dead Blossom, and this is why we had exact precision at 23%. And we're also using a leather. I'm going to go through what kind of armor do I use, but this way Dead Blossom with the plus 70% crit will always be a critical strike. For the passives, we want to use Trickster. Trickster is very good because it slows the target just enough so that we can always catch up if there is a little gap. We want to use Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct will result in dealing more damage to target with less and less HP. And then Deadly Duelist so that we gain attack speed and also a little bit of critical damage. On protection side, we're using Smiting Smash. Smiting Smash is also again an enhancer. If you have the correct card, it slows down the target and reduces their attack power. And we're using Revenge. Revenge is a very cool card. It stuns again if you have the correct card. And it can be also cast for 0 ether. We will go into skill rotations in a bit. Card-wise, we want Troll Champion on Smiting Smash because our Revenge, if Smiting Smash debuff is on the target, will be with increased damage. And for Revenge, we want to use Mindslave Taskmaster. If we use that, our Revenge is going to stun. On passives, we only use Giant's Blood here on protection. It increases our health by 10%. Okay, so equipment-wise. Equipments in Rift PvP Arena are also equalized. Their stats do not count. However, their set bonuses do. So in Arena, I am combining mostly 2 leather and 2 cloth. The cloth set bonus gives us attack speed and spell defense, and the leather gives us crit chance, 7% crit chance on every attack, and reduced stun slows their durations by 10%. We can also sometime, I can advise you to go cloth, full cloth. This is what I do, but feel free to experiment with plate. Plate gives you a lot of HP, a lot of self-heal abilities if you're going for a tanky build, which is also very good. These are only my suggestions that work for me, and feel free to choose the best armor for your playstyle. Alright, so we covered stats, skills, and gear. Now let's get into those rotations. Before we go into that, let's learn our skills. So we have the auto attack. This is what we are going to use to generate ether. Then we do have the main damage dealing skills, which we are using to inflict as much damage, and we try to focus our combos around these skills. We have the gap closers. We use the gap closers when we want to initiate or there is some distance between me and my enemy. I want to get close, I use the gap closer. We have the so-called enhancers, which enhance our main damage dealing abilities, or they do some kind of enhancement. We have the interrupt for spell cast interruptings. We have our self-heal ability, and we have one ability that will generate us ether. Correctly combining your skills may include their powers. So here are some examples how you can use them in which order to increase their efficiency. The first combo is going to be very simple, the all-in rush in. charge, you use shield break, lower their defenses, and use your highest damage dealing skill, and you can seal the deal with Coup de Grace. A more sophisticated approach would just be shield break and Coup de Grace. I want to point out that Coup de Grace can still be used at 0 ether with maximum damage, however, its cooldown will be increased. Continuing the combinations, we have shield break and heal reduction, and also we have high damage with heal reduction. All good combinations. Heal reduction comes into play when you have a healer to defeat. It comes very handy, and don't sleep on heal reduction. And then you can do something like set up a good damage dealing output with shield break, inflict a heal reduction that is 100 ether, and then use Coup de Grace to inflict even more damage. The next set of combinations come from the protection archetype. You start with Smiting Smash, and if you have the correct card, then your Revenge will deal more damage. You follow up with Revenge, that's 100 ether, and if you want to seal the deal, you can inflict a Coup de Grace for maximum damage. A good combination is you charge on him, which is a stun, you inflict max damage, and then you inflict damage and stun as well. In an ideal situation, you inflict shield break, and then you use your teleporting dagger, because if you have the correct card, your attacks for the next 2.5 seconds on the target will do more damage. So that's when you use your high damage output abilities right after activating the dagger. And in a perfect scenario, your Bloodbath is at 100 stacks. That's when you deal maximum damage, 75% more. Then you have Sinister Strike active. You charge your target. You inflict Shield Bash for 50 ether. Then your Revenge costs 0 ether, so you can activate it at 0 ether. Deal damage and heal reduction with Guillotine. That's your 100 ether. And then you finish the combo with Coup de Grace. So there you go, guys, this would be it for the video. I tried to go over all the basic stuff and maybe touch a little bit of advanced mechanics and skills. We did not cover all, there are so much more. PvP is very complex, there is kiting, cooldown management that you always need to be concerned about. And the information and skills that I convey in this video are not set in stone. There are more skilled and better players than me. Take this with a grain of salt. This works for me. Try to adjust it, try to adapt it, and experiment with it. I hope that this video was helpful for you. You learned a lot. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe this video and follow me on my socials. If you would like to play RavenQuest with me and the community with Explore, feel free to join. Link is in the description below. And see you guys in RavenQuest and see you guys in the arena.